Welcome to the Business Process Operation Simulation game. Here you can experience excellent enterprise education. Okay, now let's have a look into the Business Process Operation Simulation game and what we're going to do and what we're going to learn. So what are the learning outcomes? The learning outcomes include the business processes on daily activities, for example, plan, source, make and deliver. Also kind of like a reflection to strategy and how the different business processes are related to each other, how they're related to financial performance. Therefore, we need the strategy and financial aspects, for example, with the strategy maps and the scorecards, the balance sheet, the profit and loss. We're also going to go to the data science field, so we have to access the database and create business intelligence and analytic solutions. So we are going to access the data, you are able to transform the data, and then you have to visualize the data using a dashboard. Any tools can be used for that. It's a MySQL database, so it's accessible with any tools that more or less available on the market. We will talk about collaboration and how we do the collaboration internally in the firm. So how do we communicate from the top management towards the middle management, towards the shop floor, and also kind of like on a horizontal perspective, kind of like from your supplier to your business people in the firm towards kind of like your customer side. So it's a collaboration internally and externally, which we're going to experience more or less, and which you can apply and evaluate your different ideas on how collaboration should be set up. In addition, we're going to risk management and into quality management. Those are two aspects where we can learn about what kind of risks might occur and how we can reduce our risks. We're going to check about quality aspects, and we also will include the sustainability aspect, for example, like paying a higher price for raw material versus kind of like having less CO2 emissions. In addition, we will go into the field of CRM and SRM. So as we have a customer and as we have a supplier, we can talk about how we could integrate them in a good way, how we could measure their performance, and how the different or those two fields can be like filled with important business processes and what is important and how should you behave. Knowledge management as part of kind of like understanding what of kind of, for example, strategies are available and how can we apply those strategies in the different fields, and by doing that, hopefully then creating higher financial performance. And we will also have the opportunity to go into new technologies during the game, but that's something I will going to tell a bit later on. Regarding the learning pyramid, you will have a lot of material that is available in the learning management system, which you can access. By doing that, I would like to ask you to apply it by playing the game, so developing your own solutions. And if you develop your own solutions, kind of like by reading theory, you apply it, and then you can do a self-evaluation of your kind of like results, and then you can see if they're good or not, or how and where you could improve them. And I'm really looking forward to see those solutions from your side. So it's very helpful to do this by yourself, because then it will help you to remember what you've done even some years later. Now let's have a look at kind of like what kind of different aspects are we going to cover in the different fields. We have kind of like 5 dimensions. From a strategy dimension, we are going to talk about strategies. So you have to develop strategies, how you can cooperate with your partners. We have kind of like a financial aspect where we talk about profit and loss and balance sheet. It's about collaboration. This is also somehow includes leadership and culture. What you like to do, it's about investment decisions. For example, do you want to buy a new machine versus kind of like reducing tool change costs? So there where you could calculate the break-even point or have kind of like KPI or return on invest. Then we have kind of like the internal perspective, where kind of like you can develop tools, for example, for forecasting, or a tool for production planning using the product tree. You can access the database, as I already said, to create dashboards, to generate insights, which will help you to manage your processes in a better way. On operations, for example, you have the production costs, where you can think about, does it make sense to reduce your production costs? How could you do that? It's about utilization of machines. Tool exchange could be something versus the new machine, which is kind of like the relation, for example, to a strategy. We also will go into supply chain risk management. What I told you about what happens, for example, if a product does not is going to be delivered to your warehouse. And then it's also what I already said, it's about CO2. For example, are you going to accept a higher price for your raw material by avoiding CO2 emissions? And then it's also, if you produce those goods, is kind of like to that you ensure the deliveries to your customer, that you avoid the backlog, and that you've got your warehouse of finished goods under control. And for sure, to produce, you need kind of like materials from your supplier. So you have to ensure that you always have some raw materials available in their warehouse. And there are different strategies that are possible for ordering, for example, leveling, or kind of like that you do just in time, just in sequence orders, and kind of like this is how you're going to set up your processes with your supplier. So that's kind of like the short, broad overview on the aspects that could be applied. There are many more if you play the game. So I'm looking forward to play the game together with you, and about your tools, your ideas, and your hopefully great strategies and success during the game.